Hi, I'm Julie, and I work at the Milford Public Library, and it's my turn for staff picks, so I wanted to tell you about some of the books that I've read this year. This is called The Plot by Hanff, Korelitz. This book is about a man who has some success in his writing career when he's young, quite young, and then everything just kind of, he's afraid that he peaked early. And what happened is his name is Jake Finch Bonner. He wrote a novel, and now he's teaching at a third-rate MFA program and struggling to maintain what's left of his self-respect. He has a new student, Evan Parker, who is very arrogant, and he announces that he doesn't need any help from Jake because the plot of his book in progress is a sure thing. Jake is prepared to dismiss the boast as a typical amateur narcissism, but then he hears the plot. Jake returns to the downward trajectory of his own career and braces himself for the supernova publication of Evan Parker's first novel, but it never comes. When he discovers that his former student has died, presumably without ever completing his book, Jake does what any self-respecting writer would do with a story like that, a story that absolutely needs to be told. So it's very well written. It's very twisty-turny. I wasn't sure what was going to happen at the end, but I really enjoyed this book, and I would recommend that one to anybody who enjoys a good mystery. This one's a little bit different. This is called Devolution by Max Brooks, and he happens to be the son of Mel Brooks and Anne Bancroft, if you know who that is. He's also very famous for writing World War Z, which was turned into a movie with Brad Pitt and was all about the zombie apocalypse. So this one, he writes as a journal, or, of this lady who's, they go to Mount Rainier, and it's a group called the Green Loop Group, and it's a bunch of scientists and made up of several couples and families that go to this very isolated spot. There's something awful that happens, and he actually does it like it's written from her point of view, everything that happens. I don't know about you, but I love the old movies with all the Godzilla and all this. This one's about Bigfoot or Sasquatch. So if you like that kind of book, this was another one that I highly recommend. It was fun to read, and I enjoyed that one. This is called Bad Axe County by John Galligan. His main character at the very beginning of the book, so she's actually a teenage girl who was elected the Dairy Queen, and they're getting ready to crown a new Dairy Queen or whatever. And somebody comes up to her and says that her father killed her mother and then himself. And she knows that that absolutely is not true. So when she grows up, she actually becomes sheriff of this county. And this is the story of her finally getting to the bottom of what happened to her family. And I think there are maybe 5 books in this series, and this is the first one. So if you read this one and you like it, you'll want to check out the other one. Her name is Heidi Kick. This is written by a fella, Fabian Nicieza. And he's actually written lots of comic books for Marvel. He was the co-creator of Deadpool. I really liked this book. It's called Suburban Dicks, Dicks being short for detectives. It's got a sense of humor in it. The main character is a woman, Andrea Stern, and she thought she was going to be an FBI profiler, but she gave up those dreams to raise a family of 4, but she's very, very pregnant with her 5th child, and an attendant at a gas station in her area. She just happens to pull into this gas station because one of her children needs to use the restroom and she kind of stumbles into this whole thing. Her childhood friend is a disgraced local journalist named Kenneth Lee, and he's also on the case because he's had a problem. Something happened that people aren't always going to believe what he writes anymore because of something he did. So they work together on trying to figure out what happened to the gas station attendant and why he was killed, because a lot of it just didn't make sense. What the police were saying didn't make sense. If you like books that have a sense of humor, the characters are funny, there's a long history between them, this is a good choice for you. Well, I've always been a big fan of Friends. Most people like Friends. And Matthew Perry, his Chandler always made me laugh. So when I found out, I mean, obviously if you watch this show, you could see that something was going on in his life because his physical looks would change so much. Like one season he would look puffy, and another season he would look very, very thin. He tells what was going on and what happened. And it's called Friends, Lovers, and the Big Terrible Thing. And he's an alcoholic and a drug addict. And he talks about his family and growing up and all of his success with his TV show Friends and how that came to be, and some of the people that he knows, like Bruce Willis and some other people that he's worked with in the movies. I liked the book because I like him. It's just very sad how there are so many of these actors and actresses that are so funny and they make everybody laugh, and yet there's a deep, dark sadness in them that, I mean, I don't know why that has to be, but I wish him luck. I hope he stays sober, and I enjoyed reading it because, like I said, I've always been a fan of his. This is a pretty new one. I think we just got this one in. It's by Lisa Unger. She has several other books out. This one is Secluded Cabin Sleep 6. And this is another one where the people go off. It's a family. They go to this isolated place, and they have no idea why they're really there. And then all of these strange things start happening, and you don't know why or who is causing all the problems. But it was one that keeps you guessing, and if you like this one, I'm sure you'd like other ones. This year, my big find was this series. I really, really enjoyed it. Dead by Dawn by Paul Doiron, I believe is how he pronounces his name. Mike Bowditch is his main character, and when the book started out, he's pretty young. He's in his early 20s, and he is a game warden in the state of Maine. I would highly recommend this one. The first book in the series is The Poacher's Son. So that's what it starts out with. And then the newest one, I believe we have in the new books right now. But hopefully he'll keep writing these because they're very enjoyable. A lot about nature. He talks about the animals in Maine. I didn't really know what all a game warden does, but he explains the different things that they do. So this was one of my favorite finds for this year. I hope you have all enjoyed 2022's wonderful books that we've got. Look forward to more in 2023. Keep reading, and always ask us for information or things that we can tell you that we can lead you in the right direction. So, see you soon.